You're watching Bermuda Tonight. It's Monday, March the 18th, 2019. I'm Diane Brewer, and thank you for joining us. Government will soon launch a pilot program to allow two companies with good track records to be able to get work permits on a fast-track basis. The scheme will be part of comprehensive immigration reform aimed at balancing the interests of businesses and those of Bermudians who expect to be able to find employment in their own country. Troy Trott has details for what is being planned.
The government says high on its parliamentary agenda for this year is immigration reform. Work permits is part of that agenda, how to improve the process and streamline it. The National Security Minister, Wayne Keynes, who is responsible for immigration, wants to see key companies involved in the process.
And we've come up with a plan. That plan sees us getting people from one of our top-tier firms embedded in the immigration department. How do we make the work permit process more robust? How do we get it digitized? How do we get it to look at a number of key elements of it?
One major area of immigration reform is the plight of mixed-status families. Government is pledging progress in this area.
Another part of the process is looking at the mixed-status families part. This parliamentary session, we will look at regularizing the mixed-status family and allowing them to see how they can indeed have their immigration status regularized. We have the opportunity now to look at what does closed and restricted categories look like. In Bermuda, we have a number of categories, whether it's for police officers, whether it's for lawyers or teachers, or we have to look at all of the categories, and I didn't name those to say that they're being considered, but we're starting a consultative phase in Bermuda. What categories that are open do you think of employment? Categories do you think we should close? What categories should be restricted? We want to get the public's influence, like how should barbers be moved to restricted categories? Should we look at compliance officers being moved to restricted or closed categories?
Another area that will get attention from government is a group of residents who identify as belongers, who live here but are unable to become Bermudians. A Supreme Court ruling last December brought the issue to the forefront when the court ordered that two non-Bermudian athletes should be allowed to represent Bermuda in a swimming competition after finding they belonged to Bermuda. The ruling is at odds with regulations set by the international sporting bodies, which mandates that athletes representing a country must have a passport describing them as a citizen, rendering the Supreme Court ruling largely inoperable. Minister Keynes promising that the cabinet will soon take up the issue.
With reference to belongers, there is a paper that we have a view on it, and that will go to cabinet within the next week, and we will discuss it internally and open that up to discussion in the not-too-distant future.
The government plans to launch an immigration pilot program for two companies, Sompo International and Liberty Mutual, to have fast-track work permits.
The pilot program is taking a company that is a good corporate citizen, that has the right governance processes in place, that hires Bermudians, that trains and develops Bermudians, and we want to look at creating another process for granting work permits for them.
Will it be easier?
Well, what we're looking at is this is a pilot program. This is not for any and everyone. There are some corporate citizens who are making sure that they hire Bermudians. They're training and developing Bermudians. They have a clear HR program that is outlined how they process. They're committed to Bermuda for the long term.
The minister sees immigration reform as a delicate balance, but conceded at the end of the day, Bermudians cannot be allowed to become second-class citizens in their own country. Troy Trott reporting for Bermuda Broadcasting News.
Thanks, Troy. The Minister of Home Affairs, Walter Urban, in a press release today confirmed his pledge that the government would develop stand-alone legislation for St. George's. Mike Sharp brings us up to date.
Well, that's all fine and dandy, says opposition leader Craig Kinnear, but the municipalities legislation was rushed through the House of Assembly, he says.
I mentioned to the Premier that had he taken into consideration with the legislation that was laid, the difference in reception, the difference in concern, as opposed to St. George's Corporation to Hamilton Corporation. And the reason I was asking that question, and I further went on to say, do you believe that this legislation covers both corporations and taking into consideration the differences? And he said, yes. But the reason I was asking the question is because I realized that St. George's would love to have its own act exclusive of the Corporation of Hamilton.
Minister Oban, in his release, said the Municipalities Reform Bill is just the start of the journey for St. George's. But the OBA chief has a different view.
So then when we get to the debate, I was pleasantly, not surprised, but I was pleasantly encouraged by member Renee from Constituency 1 that she echoed the sentiments that she was looking for a new act for St. George's Corporation. That has been made to, we are made to believe that they will take on that as a discussion, but I think that if we were to slow down, just slow down and listen to the people. This government is always talking about, cooperation and always talking about transparency and sitting down and consulting. Well, listen, in my estimation, there was not enough consultation taking place here.
The opposition leader said he finds it interesting that government has moved in and taken 2 cities, but slammed the OBA over the Regis Hotel Fort St. Catherine Beach controversy.
One of the other things that I wanted to say, which was interesting in the debate, I mentioned how the PLP, when it was opposition, said that we were taking a beach down in St. George's and that the framework of the legislation was not going to allow the beach to be public. Well, we basically used the same legislation that they used for Park Hyatt, so I don't know how they came to that conclusion. The beach was always going to be made public, but they accused us of taking a beach. And here we are now that their government, 2 years later, not only have they moved in to take a whole city, they've taken 2.
And I'm Mike Shart with Bermuda Broadcasting News.
Thanks, Mike. Coming up, today's Supreme Court trial update. More on standards-based grading and the latest from AccuWeather. Stay with us.
The Department of Health is hosting Fitness in the Park, 4 weeks of free lunchtime classes. On Mondays, Zumba with Inspired Fitness. Tuesdays, cardio kickboxing with Longevity Athletics Bermuda. Wednesdays, Corps de Force and Brazilian Bot with the Athletic Club. Thursdays, Strong by Zumba with Body Fit. Fridays, CrossFit with CrossFit Bermuda. See you at Victoria Park on March 4th to the 29th from 12:30 to 1:15. Questions? Call 278-4900.
I close my eyes and I can see the world that's waiting up for me, that I call my own. I don't care, so call me crazy. We can live in a world that we design. 'Cause every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. A million dreams are keeping me awake.
Over time, your mattress goes through a lot. That's why at Dreams, our experts recommend you replace your mattress every 8 years for a better night's sleep. Replace every 8 years and sleep better with Dreams.
For the world we're gonna make.
Made with care, handled with care, delivered with care. Now that's what dreams are made of.
Take a test drive today at Ultimate Motors.
Welcome back. The man accused of accessing child sexual exploitation images claims he doesn't know how they ended up stored on his laptop. The 30-year-old Devonshire resident gave evidence in his own defense from the stand today during the Supreme Court trial. The defendant is charged with accessing over 1,200 images and videos of child sexual abuse from a peer-to-peer sharing network between 2010 and 2015, which he denies. More details in this report.
During cross-examination by prosecutor Larry Mussenden, it was suggested to the defendant that he saved a number of personal photos to a folder where the explicit images were found on his laptop. The defendant said that laptop was used by his family but belonged to him, adding that there was no Wi-Fi service in his bedroom. He said he loaned his laptop to a friend for a period of 6 to 9 months in the year 2010. The Crown suggested he was trying to distance himself from the laptop, adding, quote, "I'm going to suggest that you lied in your caution interview saying you didn't have a laptop. You downloaded all of the program files and you know about peer-to-peer networks." The defendant denied the suggestion, telling the jury he did not know about the software used to download content, saying, "I'm not really a computer guy." Mr. Mussenden continued, the Crown's expert witness said the computer was sharing images on the peer-to-peer network, which was tracked by U.S. Homeland Security. A hacker didn't put any pictures on your laptop, end quote. He again denied any involvement, saying, "I've never accessed any horrific material. I wouldn't enjoy the sexual torture of children." The Crown suggested that the defendant typed in and searched specifically for child abuse and even corrected a spelling mistake. He told the jury, "I don't know how they got there, and I don't know who put them there." The accused also denied downloading a number of reggae and hip-hop songs, as well as Hollywood movies saved to the computer from the same sharing software used to search for child sexual images. An analysis of the laptop by the defense's IT team found 3 Trojan viruses, but the Crown's forensic expert said there was no evidence the viruses were operational. A forensic computer analyst previously told the jury there is no virus that exists capable of searching for, downloading, and saving child abuse to a person's laptop. The trial continues.
Thanks, Jasmine. In other news, Commissioner of Education Kalmar Richards gave an update today in a press release on the transition to standards-based grading at public schools. She states, quote, "The Department of Education has consistently communicated to principals, teachers, and the Bermuda Union of Teachers. We are a traditional system that has begun the process of transitioning to a standard-based education system. We have put an interim grading system in place for the 2018-2019 school year. This requires teachers to convert percentages to a scale of 0 to 4, which is not a standards-based grading practice," she explains, but an interim measure. Ms. Richards adds, quote, "We reached out to our overseas consultant who was made aware of the conversion table, and they indicated that we should continue with what we are presently doing." This in response to a release by the BUT, who stated, "It is our belief that these grades are, quote, fake standards-based grading and will cause confusion about student performance. We as education professionals felt that our lack of training in the correct use of Power School and this flawed conversion chart make a mockery of SBG and diminish the integrity of the grading process," end quote. Turning to weather news. Okay, well, what can we say? It was a very good day for tank rain and staying indoors to do some early spring cleaning, perhaps. Let's go to AccuWeather headquarters now to see if improving conditions are heading our way.
AccuWeather is presented by BF&M Insurance Group. We now go to AccuWeather headquarters.
We're glad that you're tuned in to us here on ZBM tonight. BF&M Insurance Group brings you this wet forecast. We will have some drier times down at the end of the week, but for now, it's been a really wet and cool, kind of a raw day here as we get the raw deal. Widespread rain has been in the area. We've been getting some breaks in the action at times, but there's still some rain in the vicinity. Lots of cloud cover as well. It's certainly a cool feel with at least more rain headed our way into the next couple of days at times. So it's not a steady rain, but at least intervals of wet weather are with us, not just this Monday, but also Tuesday and even into Wednesday morning. We're at 59 degrees. It's cool out there. Humidity is at around 87%. Wind active from the northeast at 10 to 15 knots. Water temps holding at 67. On the inside, we have 1 to 3 foot waves, but on the outside, there are 4 to 7 foot wave heights, and that's part of the problem. So there is a small craft warning in effect now through tonight into Tuesday morning. We'll take a little break with a brief period of time in which the boating conditions improve, and then again Tuesday evening the next small craft warning will begin. So just a narrow window of time for much of Tuesday afternoon when we will be between these small craft warnings. The tide's coming in, high tide at 7:23 tonight, low tide at 1:37 a.m. Another high tide in the mid-morning at around 7:53 Tuesday, another low tide then at 2:20 in the afternoon on your Tuesday. So considerable clouds with a little rain here and there. Temperatures not moving much, still holding about steady. And then tomorrow we jump up to 68 degrees, so the wind will shift a little bit. We'll have clouds and a couple of off and on showers. It shouldn't be as wet as today has been. So Futurecast shows this big batch of green on the map, those showers in the neighborhood. A little bit of a break, but still some showers will be nearby. And tomorrow night into Wednesday, we get back into it for a time with more rain. We may even deal with some more street flooding in some poor drainage areas, so be aware of some of those concerns. Down into the Caribbean, we look okay in many areas. Now, Jamaica has some scattered showers, 84. Barbados will match that 84-degree temperature, but it's a little drier. And in Trinidad and Tobago, it looks great with more sunshine and clouds. Into eastern parts of North America, temperatures are running a little bit below normal, but not off the charts cold for this part of March. By the way, the vernal equinox, the official beginning of spring, occurs on Wednesday of this week for the Northern Hemisphere. Toronto 42, New York 48, Boston 45 degrees, generally dry in most of those areas for a day. And then Wednesday we'll get some more moisture back in. Atlanta cool at 59. We have rain in Miami, a little cooler there as well. Widespread rain in South Florida. London has some scattered showers and spring-like weather there. Extended forecast holds on to the showers again. Tuesday, an increase in rain Tuesday night into Wednesday. Street flooding will be a concern. Some spots might see an inch of rain out there through the middle of the week. Thursday, showers begin to taper off, and then we'll see some nice improvements for Friday. Saturday and Sunday, a little cool for the weekend, but we will be dry, and that's 2/3 of the battle. We'll send it back to you.
AccuWeather was presented by BF&M Insurance Group.
This summer I was in Germany on holiday with my family, and on a whim one day my son and I joined a speed sliding competition. And as I came down the water slide, I went straight down in the pool and whacked my left foot on the bottom of the pool. And I looked down and I didn't see a foot. I just saw the bones sticking out and I started to feel faint. I was ambulanced to a hospital where I stayed for 11 days and had surgery. I had snapped all the ligaments on both sides of my ankle. And in the middle of all this stress and pain, we thought, how are we going to deal with health insurance? How will we pay for this? And I got a response from Allison at BF&M, and she said, your admission and surgery will be covered at 100%. I didn't have to put it on a credit card and deal with a reimbursement later. It made such a big difference to us. And for me, the BF&M difference is stress-free insurance when I really needed it.
You're watching the Monday edition of Bermuda Tonight. Well, major developments out of the UK today. The House of Commons Speaker John Bercow threw the UK's Brexit plans into further confusion by ruling out another vote on the Prime Minister's deal unless MPs are given a new motion. According to the BBC in London, in his surprise ruling, he said he would not allow a third, quote, meaningful vote in the coming days on substantially the same motion as MPs rejected last week. With 11 days to go before the UK is due to leave the EU, ministers have warned of a looming constitutional crisis. Mr. Bercow cited a convention dating back to 1604 that a defeated motion could not be brought back in the same form during the course of a parliamentary session.
If the government wishes to bring forward a new proposition that is neither the same nor substantially the same as that disposed of by the House on the 12th of March, this would be entirely in order. What the government cannot legitimately do is to resubmit to the House the same proposition or substantially the same proposition as that of last week, which was rejected by 149 votes. This ruling should not be regarded as my last word on the subject. It is simply meant to indicate the test which the government must meet in order for me to rule that a third meaningful vote can legitimately be held in this parliamentary session.
Earl Bays will have all the latest sports news from the weekend in just a few minutes. Stay tuned.
When did sleep start requiring effort? What if it didn't have to? That's why every Tempur-Pedic mattress is engineered with advanced pressure-relieving material, so you get the deepest sleep you've had ever. Sleep effortlessly with the superior comfort of Tempur-Pedic.
Enjoy the world's finest beds at Furniture Walk, 12 Harvey Road, Paget, 292-5209.
There's nothing like Tempur-Pedic sleep.
It was 5 days before Christmas. I will never forget that. I went for a regular 20-week checkup to see how the baby was doing. They said, your daughter has a half a heart. Her heart is damaged beyond repair. And I'm like, are you sure? Are you sure? And she said, yes. There's nothing we could do to help your daughter. New York Presbyterian Hospital said, yes, we'll take her. And yes, they did. We knew that Jenna would need a heart transplant. Dr. Badger actually said, you have to do the 3 surgeries to give her a fighting chance. Everybody else gave up. They never gave up. I would tell the entire New York Presbyterian Hospital, you guys are our angels. You guys are always there for Jenna.
At Argus, our interest is you. Each of you. Around here, we know that when two people seem the same, they can have very different insurance needs. For their health, home, work, and future. Which is why we take the time to get to know you as an individual, so we can provide insurance coverage that fits your life. Because after all, our interest is you.
Earl Bazin has our Weekend in Review sports report.
Bermuda's Special Olympians were back in action in Dubai over the weekend. Chris Trott finished 4th competing in the 200-meter dash. He would clock a time of 28:72. Kurt Dale finished 4th in his 200-meter dash race, clocking a time of 32:41. With a time of 31:52, saw Damon Emery finish 8th in his 200-meter race. Tiani Lowe would finish 4th in singles bowling action with 216 pins. With a total of 385 pins, saw Carlton Thompson finish 3rd in his singles bowling division. Wayne Smith would finish 5th with 180 pins in his singles bowling. Michael Lambert would take to the court to compete in the singles level 5 tennis tournament, and he would go down to his opponent from Great Britain in straight sets 6-4, 6-1. Danielle Gibbons finished 6th in the 200-meter dash with a time of 38:48. Bridget Marshall went down to her tennis opponent from Argentina in straight sets 4-1, 4-1. Eden Woolery finished 2nd, winning a silver medal in the equestrian English working trails, riding her horse Bermuda. Bermuda's under-14 boys team of Antonio Warner, Bobby Bart, and Makai Witter would finish 8th in the ITF World Team Junior Tennis Competition in Santo Domingo. The 2019 Area Re Bermuda Sevens at the National Sports Center came to an end on Saturday with Bermuda falling in both men's and women's final. Norwich Maroon defeated the Bermuda Stars in the men's final 10-5, while Humber College were crowned the women's champions after they defeated the Bermuda Stars 22-5. Kent Richardson and Karen Smith both won their age group divisions while competing in the Ironman 70.3 Puerto Rico. Smith will clock an overall time of 4 hours, 56 minutes, and 24 seconds, winning the women's 50-54 age group division. Richardson was clocked across the line in a time of 5 hours, 14 minutes, and 31 seconds, on his way to winning the men's 60-64 age group division. Smith and Richardson have both now qualified for the 70.3 World Championships, which will take place in September in France. Kenny Lejour picked up the win on the IMG Junior Golf Tour, claiming a one-stroke victory at the Eagle Creek Golf Club. Lejour started the day tied 2nd after his first round 3 under par 70. He would shoot his second round even par 73. 2 teams were officially relegated from the Premier Division, while the First Division League title will be decided on the final day of football. In the Premier Division, the Somerset Trojans were officially relegated to the First Division following their 2-1 loss at the hands of the Boulevard Blazers at Lords and St. David's. Crossroads will travel to Southampton Oval to face off against Paget Lions, and with Crossroads picking up a 6-1 win, it would send the Paget Lions back to the First Division. In other Premier Division action, it was PHC Zebras 0, Dandytown Hornets 2, North Village Village Rams 1, Devonshire Cougars 2. And on Saturday night, it was BAA 2, Robin Hood 10. In First Division play, it was Southampton Rangers 6, Young Men's Social Club 1, Flanagan's Onions 4, Wolves 0, St. David's 1, St. George's Colts 1, Somerset Eagles 2, Vasco 1, Hamilton Parish 3, Devonshire Colts 1. The Bermuda National Athletic Association hosted another Carifta Games track meet qualifier as the number has now increased to 17 athletes who have met the standard. Chase Tanner would win the under-17 boys long jump with a top leap of 6.72 meters, with the Carifta standard being 6.60 meters. The second series of the RES Hunter Jumper Show concluded at the National Equestrian Center on Visa Street. Christian Truin won the 3 foot 3 inches working hunter handy horse over the fence class, riding Fraza. Kayla Barjett and Causing Chaos finished second. The Bermuda Karting Club season continued at the Rubis Southside Motorsports Park with race day number 13. Now Bean won all 3 races in the cadet class, while Scott Barnes took the checker flag in the 3 races in the tag senior class. David Barboza won 2 of the 3 races in the AL 206 Masters class, with Jeff Souza winning the other. Scott Barnes won all 3 races in the AL 206 senior class. The tag junior class saw Juzza James win all 3 races, while Scott Barnes won 2 races in the shifter stock class, and Ben Seville won 2 races in the shift modified class. The Bermuda Netball Association's league season came to an end. In the Digicel Under-12 division, the North Village Lady Rams Red defeated the Storm 17-14, while the Phoenix Sparks defeated the North Village Lady Rams Whites team 20-14. In Digicel Under-16 division action, Storm Lightning defeated the Storm Thunder 25-7. The North Village Lady Rams Red defeated the Warriors 31-5, and the Phoenix Fire got by the North Village Lady Rams Whites 13-12. Daria Benjamin scored a game-high 24 goals to lead the Storm Lightning to a 45-33 win over the North Village Lady Rams in senior division play. Phoenix Heat defeated Robin Hood 65-18, with Danielle Reyna scoring a game-high 54 goals. The Lyndhurst Tigers defeated the Storm Thunder 34-28, with Jakenya Trott leading the Lyndhurst Tigers with 30 goals. The Bermuda Basketball League continued with a doubleheader inside the Summersfield Academy Gymnasium on Saturday night with 274 points put on the board. In the opener, the Hamilton City Twisters defeated the Smith Core Kings 62-50. Game 2 saw the Somerset Tsunamis defeat the Hamilton Parish Rockets 90-62. The Bermuda Flag Football League spring season continued on the T.N. Tatum Middle School field with 89 points put on the board in a doubleheader. The opening game was decided by 5 points, with the Punishers defeating the Killer Squad 18-13. The second game saw the Black Sharks defeat the Bermuda Misfits 46-12. I'm Earl Baisden with Bermuda Broadcasting Sports.
Cal's wondering, do cell phone and internet providers really look out for his best interests? And what about electricity? Like most people, Cal's had his share of bad experiences with service providers. Yet, he also has friends in the industry who go above and beyond for customers. As a consumer, your experience shouldn't be hit and miss, which is why the regulatory authority is introducing consumer protection standards. Cal likes that. The standards will mean improved frontline staff training, fair and honest marketing and advertising, better handling of complaints, easy to understand billing, and protection for vulnerable consumers. The new guidelines will also set service standards for managing outages, customer data privacy, and more. The regulatory authority wants to know what's important to you. It's easy to have your say. Go to rab.bm to be part of the Consumer Protection Public Consultation.
Let's Talk is back. The TV talk show hosted by Gary Moreno airs live at 8 p.m. on Mondays. Real conversations with key figures in public life, going beyond the sound bites to explore and contextualize current affairs. And there's lots to talk about: jobs, tax reform, our changing economy, education, crime, and the environment. Discussing the issues that matter in depth and with personality. A new studio, a new look for a new season. That's Let's Talk. Live Mondays at 8 p.m. on ZBM TV 9 and repeated at 7 a.m. on Wednesdays and Sundays at 8 a.m.
And we have a programming note. Tonight, Let's Talk with Gary Moreno will feature two guests from the Bermuda Airport Authority, Chairman Lawrence Scott and CEO Lester Nelson. The new airport is rapidly taking shape, and challenges such as increasing airlift will return to the fore in the months ahead. Throughout the show, viewers will be able to pose questions to Gary's two guests via the website menti.com. That's MENTI.com. Let's Talk with Gary Moreno airs tonight at 8 p.m. right here on ZBM TV 9. That's our newscast for tonight. I'm Diane Brewer. Thank you for sharing your Monday evening with us, everyone. Good night.